Austin, what did you feel like the difference was tonight?
They won the possession battle. And then our 19 turnovers for 28 points, offensive rebounds. So it's hard to win anytime you give up, double-digit more opportunities to score. So we got to clean that up.
Clearly, Luka wasn't feeling well. JJ said he was throwing up all day. What did you see from him, and how did you and LeBron try to take on a little bit more with him not feeling well out there?
Yeah, I just seen him. He gave it everything he had tonight. Played 39, 40 minutes. Did everything he could do to help us win. We had an opportunity. I think it was one possession game with 3 minutes left, and we just couldn't get it done.
What was the feeling like amongst you guys just now in the locker room, knowing that you were 3 minutes away from maybe going ahead in the series and looking ahead at Game 4, Sunday, a quick turnaround?
Yeah, mood's good. We see, the spots where we have to be better to, win games, and we'll have to fix that on Sunday.
Austin, with some of the threes that you guys gave up in the fourth, did you see any trends in terms of, was it overhelping or doubling on certain situations, or what did you see in terms of how they got some of those looks?
I'll have to go back and watch the film. That's all I can really give you right now.
When we spoke with JJ, he mentioned that ball containment is especially important for you guys because you guys don't have a traditional rim protector. How much did you feel that Anthony Edwards was able to better exploit that tonight compared to the first two games and the way that he attacked your guys' defense?
Ant's a really good player. He's going to play in this league for a long time, make a lot of money, get a lot of buckets, win a lot of games. So, that's what good players do. They figure it out. And we'll have to go back to the, drawing board and see what we can do to, slow him down and win on Sunday.
Austin, you guys have played small a lot since the Luka trade. How have you guys been able to keep teams out of the paint to make up for kind of what Kobe asked? How have you guys done it in the past to keep, Kobe mentioned Ant, I think of McDaniels tonight in particular, everything seemed like it was above the rim for him. How do you keep that guy on the ground, not exploiting kind of the size advantage he has?
You had to do a good job guarding with 5 guys and continue to keep bodies in front of bodies. And when you do get in some type of rotation, the rotation's got to be sharp, and you can't basically go for a shot fake, get yourself out of a play. He had one, I think it was in the first quarter early in the game, where they swung it, and I jumped on a shot fake, and he got down close to the rim, made a layup. So you've got to be able to, keep bodies in front to try not to give up or get into rotations. But even if you do get into rotations, your rotations have to be sharp. And on that second side, you have to close out your shooters, but also keep it in front.
Was there, you guys for most of the game did a pretty good job kind of weathering the mistakes, the missed free throws, different things like that kind of occurred. Was there a particular mistake or moment in the fourth that felt like particularly impactful in this game?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think Ant might have hit 2 back-to-back threes when it was a 3-point game. I think we even scored on the in between that possession. Gave them a little momentum, but I don't know. I didn't think at any point, even at that time when it was 6, 5, 7, that we didn't have an opportunity to win the game.
Kind of goes without saying, but just the importance of Sunday's game, as you think about not wanting to fall down, 3-1 as you head home. And what is there anything else that you kind of put into that? Again, obvious question, but
you go play as hard as you possibly can and give yourself an opportunity to win, and then go back to LA, tied at 2-2, and it's basically obviously a 3-game series from there. So, we'll be ready, focused, and we'll go compete as hard as we possibly can. Appreciate y'all.
The turnover is a kind of an obvious thing that stood out, but like when you were out there in this smaller lineup, what is the difficulty in keeping Minnesota out of the paint, and then kind of trying to find ways to protect the rim, without that specific lineup?
Just got to do a better job of stand in front of the ball. I feel like we were just giving up too many blow-bys. It really ain't had nothing to do with our size. It was just probably the on-ball defense and rotation outside of when we got to scramble. I feel like we didn't have the sense of urgency the whole game, and they did, and they made some big shots at the end of the game.
Yeah, you guys did do that in game 2. It seemed like that was part of the difference. Do you feel like that's in there? Can you get that back for game 4?
For sure. We had some live ball turnovers too. It's some free throw. We shot a free throw and they got a layup. So it's just a bunch of things we can control. I think they would have got 14 more attempts. 13 more shots attempts at the rim than us. So they won the possession game. We just got to do a better job collectively.
Despite the disparity in turnovers and also them doubling you up in points in the paint, it's still a tied game with 4 minutes to go. How do you guys let go of the feeling of frustration that you could have got one to just make all the focus be about game 4 on Sunday?
That's the positive way of look at things. We, like you said, we was battling. Even though we wasn't playing as well, it was a tie game. With 4 minutes left, we gave ourselves a chance, especially on the road, tie game 4. You can't ask for no better situation in the playoffs. But they just made all the right plays at the end of the game, and we did.
So we obviously know Luka was going through the stomach bug and throwing up before the game and whatnot. You know him as well as anyone. You've talked about how he hates to miss games, hates to he'll play through whatever he can. What did you see from him tonight, just in terms of gutting through that performance?
Man, just him fighting, man. He was fighting, trying to be there for us. I didn't think he was gonna come out second half, and he I looked at his elbow. He had like a big knot on his elbow. I was like, God damn, you sick and you getting beat up still. So he's just a tough guy. I know he want to win. He'll be ready next game.
You mean you didn't really come out of that?
Halftime. Yeah. No, just because how he sound. His body language, how he look. He look a little pale today. He probably need to hydrate some more. But like I say, Luka tough. And he made some tough shots in that fourth quarter to get us back, back in striking distance.
Joe, after this team has come together, we've seen you guys hit these really high points in Denver, at Oklahoma City. We haven't really seen that in this series yet from you guys. What's been the big difference? What's stopped you guys from playing your best basketball so far in the series?
We just got to get out in transition. Probably play a little faster. It's hard in the playoffs. Playing fast is hard. And we got to do all the hard things if we want to win. So we just got to. We got some good looks. I think we made 17 threes. So, they're doing a good job. But that's playoff basketball. Slow down. Half court game. They trying to run. So we know we got to keep them out of transition, just as well as we trying to get in transition. So we just got to win that game. That's the mental game inside the game.
His illness, it impacts our team. We understand what he brings to our team and what he's done since the acquisition. So, it definitely took a big blow for our team.
You've been down 2-1 before in a series on the road. What are the most important things you guys have to do to bounce back for that game 4?
We got to control the controllables, and I don't think we did that tonight. Obviously, 19 turnovers on the road is not going to be a good ingredient for winning. Giving up 30 points off those turnovers. They had 20 plus points and transition as well. So, we got to control the controllables, and if we do that, we give ourselves a good chance to win.
You've shown an appreciation for Ant Edwards' game when you've been asked about him over the years. Tonight, you guys were able to, I guess, enjoy like a joyful, competitive nature between the two of you, and then he just was able to kind of just control the action at the end. How tough is he at this stage of his career to contend with in a playoff situation?
Well, I mean, obviously, you're only as great as your teammates, allow you to be as well. And obviously, you guys know how much praise I have for Ant and his development over the years. And, we had a hell of a summer, and I love everything about Ant. But in the course of a playoff series and things of that nature, when you have your guy step up for you, it allows you to be able to crack the seams of defenses throughout the course of the game. And I thought, the game ball went to Jaden McDaniels. He had 30 and he was aggressive from the start to the finish. I mean, I can't remember the last time he took over 20 shots. So that just lets you know what his mindset was. And Ant was just Ant. So.
LeBron, you guys tied the game at 103 with 4:37 left. They closed the game on a 13-1 run. I know you referenced some of the miscues, but was there anything that stood out over the final 4.5 minutes that they were able to do to create that separation?
I can remember some plays, but not all of them. But I'll have to take a look at the film. Obviously, I think it was a tie game. He said 103. Then Ant hit the three, right? Top of the key. We came back down. I believe missed the shot. And then Ant drove baseline and found Nas for another three. I guess I can't remember, huh? No, they just made plays, man. We had opportunities. I think Rui had some good looks. AR had a good look as well. We just couldn't make them go.
LeBron, I think it was in mid-January. After a loss to the Clippers, you and JJ talked about how the margins at that point in time were really tight. You guys have been able to create margins since the Luka trade. Did tonight feel like a night with Luka not at full strength, with the turnovers sort of mounting? Do you feel like the margins you guys just eventually ran out of room?
Well, yeah, first of all, in the postseason, there is no room for error. In the regular season, you're able to make up for certain things throughout the course of the regular season where you can have a little bit of room for error, But when our team was constructed at one point, then in the regular season, we didn't have much room for that as well. But in the postseason, obviously, you're not going to play a perfect game. But the more that you, make mistakes on top of mistakes on top of mistakes, things that can be controlled, then it's not going to give you an opportunity to be in the best possible chance to win. They had 13 more, goals at the rim than we did, and pretty much that could be the game right there. You have 13 more. We have 78 attempts. They had 91, and it's just with turnovers, live ball turnovers.
What do you guys need to do to get the minutes better when Jackson's on the court? What needs to happen when you guys are playing bigger to be more effective in those stretches?
We all just got to be better. Obviously Jackson's not getting. Tonight he played 8 minutes. It's not. I want to say it's even enough to kind of dissect it, see what we can get out of it, obviously. But we just all need to be better. We got to rebound better. We got to screen better. We got to play with more force. When we've been really, really good, Jax has played extremely well for us. And we still believe in him and hope we can continue that going into the rest of the series.
Last two.
Vando and Jordan both played more minutes tonight than they did in game two. For Jordan, played more tonight than he did in the previous two games. How valuable? I know Vando struggled with fouls, but how valuable were their minutes, and what can they do? What can carry over to game four that they did tonight?
They just bring toughness, man. They bring toughness. They can guard multiple positions. Vando rebounds with the best of them. Goody can guard multiple positions. It brings us toughness. And obviously, versus Minnesota, they got a bunch of, bigger wings. They're very, got a lot of length out there, a lot of stronger guys. So, it helps to just have that activity, and and that demeanor when those guys get in the game.
I mean, that's what he does. He shoots 10 a game, and he's elite off the dribble. So he just makes it hard. He's obviously very aggressive, and I don't want to oversimplify things, but on the road, especially with this crowd, the turnovers and then the sort of ignition that gets for the building and them scoring off that, and us not being able to sort of deflate the energy in the crowd is big.
You mentioned early in the answer. You mentioned that one sequence, but just overall in the game, what did you see from him in terms of how he attacked your guys' defense? I know it was a big talking point coming to the night. It seemed like, at least from my view, he did better just in terms of how he attacked you guys, in terms of patience, playmaking, I guess the total package.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was across the board, and it wasn't just him. We couldn't contain the ball tonight. Our closeouts in the first quarter were god-awful, and I thought we did a better job in the second quarter, and then he just got into the teeth of our defense too much. The fact is we don't have, quote unquote rim protection, and so if you give up blow bys, we're gonna give up something. We're gonna give up a three, or we're gonna give up a shot from him at the rim. So again, he ended up with 29 on 26 shots. I think the playmaking was there again tonight, like it was in game one. I think some of that we did make it tough on him at times, but then you had McDaniels just absolutely kill us.
JJ, what did you make of LeBron's performance in the first half? He surpassed his individual game one and game two scoring output, but just doing everything on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, he's moving better. He seems like he's getting healthier by the day. It's typically a 1 to 2 week injury, and he's believe it's been 2 weeks tonight, if I'm not mistaken, from the Houston game. So clearly he's moving better.
JJ, how can you guys? You mentioned the lack of rim protection. I mean, McDaniel's in particular, right? Like, seemed to be even more focused on it. I think he said something after game one. Does that work have to be done on the perimeter? How can you guys be better at the rim, knowing kind of the size limitations and vertical limitations you guys have?
Yeah, I think it's just we've done it all year. When we've been at our best, we've been able to be physical on the ball and not allow blow-bys, and also have sort of a cover mentality, multiple effort, and it was there at times tonight. It's not to say our guys, I mean, they exerted a lot of effort, they played hard, but the sort of early throw-aheads, the offensive rebounds, I think we had 2 where we collected a rebound, we get back tapped, we give up a point. It's just, again, it's those things really, really accumulate, especially when you're turning the ball over.
Jackson hasn't really been able to make a positive impact in his minutes. Would you consider just playing small full-time? Is that something that you can look at here?
We'll look at everything, but still believe in Jackson.
With Luke, I know these stomach things can kind of hang around for a while, and I'm assuming he probably lost some water weight. What do the next 24, 48 hours look like for him, and what are you kind of expecting from him in the next game?
Hopefully he's whatever is going on, he's feeling better on Sunday. I mean, I can't, I'm not a doctor.